Belfast High School, school roll 809, headmaster Richard Nixon.
No relation, I presume.
Sorry, was that a joke?
Deputy head Eric Slatt. Either of you know Slatt?
Yes, I taught in the same school for about 6 months. Years ago.
Impressions?
There was a history teacher there who told the kids that Napoleon had an Eric Slatt complex.
Joke.
I think this one might be the one we're looking for.
I agree, Miss Drumlins.
Me too, Olivia.
Okay, gentlemen. Let's give them hell.
Why?
Mr. Slatt, one question at a time.
Oh, come on, back to work, everybody. Remember what's happening today.
I have to protest about the behaviour of our pupils.
The hospital just phoned.
I have just been subjected to the most disgusting abuse in that playground.
Wellside Hospital, that is, where you took our community service fifth formers yesterday.
Well, on that very subject, the children have been very rude to me this morning.
The medical staff were, to say the least, rather critical of some of your choice of activity.
Well, that's no excuse to call me death nurse from hell.
Specifically, the surprise party for the cardiac patients.
Yes, Mr. Slatt, I'm perfectly capable of admitting when I've made a tiny misjudge.
Not at a time, it seems. And apparently you just thought they were all acting a bit surprised and a lot of car alarms were going off. Janet, I noticed a great deal of litter in the playground this morning.
It's not part of my duty to pick up litter, darling.
Yes, I know, dear. I just thought you might be hungry. And I understand by the time the emergency team arrived, you were attempting a sing-along.
How about this one? I think she's about the cutest.
Well, her nose isn't very attractive, is it?
I think it looks fine, actually.
Doesn't anyone ever make fun of your nose in class? Bent nose? Squidgy face? Fans of the opera? Sit in my office and smile a lot, and when our special visitors come today, I want you to keep telling them how happy you are here. Is that understood? And obviously, try and keep your nose out of sight.
Are we going to discuss the attitude the children have been taking towards me this morning?
Oh dear, Miss Tiffany, were they a tiny bit critical? Are you aware that every major hospital within 10 miles has issued a court order forbidding you from their premises following a series of almost identical catastrophes?
And did those hospitals mention that I do collections for them too? I'm sure it's about breaking even.
Does anyone see what's going on out there?
The students are being perfectly beastly. That's what's going on.
Do you want to take a look out of those doors?
Miss Travis, we are about to receive a visit from Her Majesty's Inspectorate which could decide the future of this entire school, and I don't have time to play your socialist door games. Miss Travis!
If I was so unpopular at the hospital, may I ask why the entire psychiatric staff personally asked me to come and perform in their wing? I literally had to fight my way out.
Which reminds me, Dr. Clipston, senior resident of the Belfast Hospital Psychiatric Unit, is dropping by later to have a little word with you.
Well, there you are. You see, they loved me. I better tune my guitar.
Janet, what are those three creatures doing there?
Mr. Cartdale pulled them in early. He needed some help shifting some stuff from his class.
Mr. Cartdale.
Bollocks.
Mr. Cartdale, in view of what's happening today, you really are going to have to moderate your language.
Buggery.
Thank you. Now, those three. We can't have them clutching up the school while there's an inspection, can we?
Arse face, bum head, twat.
You three. Is that the best you can do for school uniform? Collect your stuff from Mr. Cartdale's classroom and take a day's suspension. You're spoiling the appearance of the entire school.
Results.
Right, staff members. Assemble in the staff room for our last pre-inspection meeting. Quickly now. Mr. Slatt, this is going to be a tough. Well, they are looking for a school to close.
Had a word with Kennedy at Morton Comprehensive. He said they were practically following him into the lavatories.
Well, you know what they're like. Always after a few scalps. Our heads.
I know we haven't always seen eye to eye in the past, but I think we have to stick together on this one. You know, I think you and I have got a lot in common. Well, I know I have, anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon.
Would you mind taking the staff meeting? A bit of an attack of the old nerves here.
Right, everyone, pay attention. I'm sure I don't need to remind you that a school closure is being seriously considered in this area. Nor do I have to remind you that the result of this morning's inspection could almost certainly decide where the axe will fall. But let me assure you, I am confident. Janet, is the office staff fully apprised of the current inspection requirements?
Yes.
Mr. McGill, have you set up a room for the inspector's exclusive use with coffee-making facilities?
Plus biscuits.
Biscuits. Mr. Humbert, have you dealt with all potential troublemakers among the pupils?
Rugby practice yesterday.
Yes. Then I can safely say, with some confidence, that this school has everything it requires to meet the very toughest of Her Majesty's Inspectorate. I'm sorry?
We've got everything we need, except pupils.
Well, we haven't rung the bell yet. They're still outside.
No.
But what do you mean, no?
I mean, no, they're not outside.
She's right. Playground's deserted.
They were out there a few minutes ago.
Anybody?
No.
What?
I did try to tell you.
They're gone.
Apparently.
They were here a moment ago.
No.
They were all out here as usual, accusing a man of murder.
That's right, they were being absolutely horrid.
I mean, are you trying to tell me we just managed to mislay 809 children on the morning of an inspection? I mean, even we can't just lose 809 children.
One little mishap during a hospital sing-along and they all think they can just say what they like.
Where'd they gone? What's happened to them?
I mean, I was just forced to take action.
What have they...
Yes, action.
What form of action?
They were being so rude and abusive. So I sacked them. That's right.
The pupils.
Yes.
All of them.
Well, just a few of them to begin with. The ones who were being rude. And then there were all those other ones laughing and being horrid. So I sacked them too. And then the whole playground seemed to be laughing at me. So I just told them anybody who wanted to be sacked could just go home right now. Which turned out to be most of the school, actually. I think at this point I may have started to go a bit over the top. Because I sacked all the ones who were left too.
Oh, dear God.
In total fairness, they didn't really want to go. So I just had to sort of shoo them out.
You shooed them.
Well, yes. And I got the big boys to carry the ones who were crying and hanging on to the railings.
Crying.
Oh, they were just wailing on because they've already paid for their school dinners. I told them they were sacked. And we didn't care whether they starved, quite frankly.
Oh, my God.
I told them they could just jolly well go into town and shoplift.
They were heading into town when I arrived.
Are you telling me that on the morning of the inspection that will determine the future of everyone in this school, pupil, teacher, deputy head, you have sacked the entire student population and sent them into town on a crime spree?
Mr. Slat, I am expecting your support on this.
No pupils! An inspection and no pupils! Wait! Where are you going? Stay exactly where you are!
You suspended us, sir.
No, wait, I've changed my mind!
Too late, sir.
No, listen, I'll revoke your suspension. You can come back in if you like.
Sorry.
Oh, come on, lads. Let's forget the whole thing and be friends. It'll be just like it was before.
We got a suspension and we can prove it.
No, wait, please. I'll declare a smoking section in the playground. You can have bullying right till all of the first year. I'll fire your maths teacher. You utter bastard! Oh. Oh.
That's Eric Slat.
That's got to be them.
Well, let's leave him to it then.
Mr. Slat? Mr. Slat? We're from the inspectorate.
Oh, God. I love this school.
Where do we park?
Oh, you know, anywhere you like. Absolutely.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. I think I'll just pop on ahead. They're here. They're parking their car right now. Bastards.
Mr. Humboldt, you take the PE department, get down to town, see if you can round up the kids.
Good idea.
We'll track Sue too.
They'll have hit the shopping centre by now.
Yeah, just head for the red glow in the sky.
Let's bring them in, lads, dead or alive.
No, actually alive. leave, Mr. Humboldt. This is in the cross-country. Right, everybody, report your classrooms. Behave absolutely as normal. Janet, back in your office. Rest your forelegs. Miss Travis, you're the only one in the right age group.
For what?
You'll have to be all the pupils.
Mr. Slat, how do you expect me to be 809 pupils? This about my thighs?
Here they come.
Sorry, darling. Was that my foreleg?
Oh, hello.
Eric Slat, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Don Crabtree, we talked together at Stainley Park, don't
Yes,
you remember?
yes, indeed.
This is Olivia Drumlins.
Hello.
Mr. Slat.
David Ogilvy.
Hello, nice to meet you. Hello. Well, we've set up a nice room for you with coffee plus biscuits, and I expect you'll be wanting a separate office for your secretary.
Drumlins is in charge of this inspection.
Well, of course she is. I bet you keep these two in line good and proper, don't you? Yes, I can see it in your face. Yes, mine's just the same.
I am the senior person here.
What, you're all secretaries?
I am the senior inspector present here. I am not a secretary of any kind. I simply happen to be a woman. You do know the difference between a secretary and a woman, don't you, Mr. Slat?
Pregnancy?
I think it's time we got this inspection underway, don't you, gentlemen?
You sure you don't want to see the offices first?
No.
No?
No.
Is that no, you don't want to see the offices, or no, yes, you do?
Excuse me, Mr. Slat.
You know, I sometimes think that as you people work away deep in the bowels of the education department, maybe you start to forget some of the everyday realities of the working teacher's life, and perhaps, if you'll forgive me, a moment's criticism, you even start to look down on us from your ivory bowels.
Your point, Mr. Slat.
You have swept through our entrance area as if it contained nothing of interest. I'm sorry, but has it occurred to you that perhaps the very heart and soul of Galfast High stands revealed before you?
Well, I'm sorry. Do you mean your offices?
Oh, is that all you can see?
Well, what else is there?
Well, for instance, the staff toilets. We're terribly proud of them. Would you like a look? What? Oh, come on. Now we have some urinals here for the quick visit. For the fast-track teacher who knows what he wants and wants it done quick. And some cubicles here for solids. The toilets are cleaned on a nightly basis by a Mrs. Chan. Well, she is, in fact, an Oriental lady, but she has a very good sense of humour about it. At least I assume she does. She certainly never answers back. I understand the waste is pumped from here through large underground pipes and re-emerges at an attractive beach not 30 miles away. So, if you'd like to take a closer look at it, I'm sure we could arrange a trip. Although, obviously, you might just like to have a look this end. I'll tell the staff you might be interested. This is Mr. Nixon, the headmaster. These are the inspectors. Hello. Everything go all right?
I am rather surprised by the level of your interest.
Can I clarify that we are here to assess the educational effectiveness of this institution?
Well, I can assure you, these laboratories are just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, yes. Galfast High is a positive hive of educational development.
Really? Well, frankly, we're going to need a sample.
Goodness me. I mean, I'd heard you people were thorough, but
Mr. Nixon, could I have a quick word in private for a moment?
Yes, come in.
No, I think it would be better. Please, feel free to use the facilities. Mr. Nixon, I've been questioned.
Gentlemen, we're getting extremely impatient. We're not here to hang around toilets. We're here to mount a full examination of the teaching staff.
Of course, and if you'll excuse me a moment, you shall have your sample. What? I must ask you to be patient, because it's a bit soon.
Soon? Mrs. Slat, from your extraordinary performance so far, I'm forced to inquire whether you're currently having some sort of mental breakdown.
Oh, no, 100% mental hygiene at all times.
Oh, Mr. Slat. That psychiatrist, Dr. Clipston, phoned, said he's going to be a bit late, wants to know if you can cope with everything.
Yes, thank you, Janet, yes. What's that? Yeah, I'm afraid of that. Hey, you!
Mr. Ogilvy!
Oh, my God! We've killed an inspector! I hate it when that happens.
Okay.
Thank heaven, you're all right. Thank God. Who needs another plaque?
Found. Boys. Chase.
Oh, this is Mr. Humboldt, head of the physical education department. Don't worry, he'll be fine. He just tends to pass out if he goes over certain speeds.
Don't you think that Mr. Ogilvy should go home and recover? We can handle the rest of the inspection.
Like how you will. I'm perfectly fit.
Just thinking of his health.
No, he isn't.
Will you two cut it out?
Hey, no!
No, actually, Mr.
He's cut his head. Is there somewhere I can take him?
I'm fine, Olivia. Crabtree just wants me out.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
I'm pleased to inform you we have a sick bay with extensive first aid facilities just first on your right.
We'll find it, thanks.
Good, excellent. I'll just get after Mr. Crabtree in case he gets lost already.
What's the matter with that man?
Raving psychopath, if you ask me.
I don't believe I've ever encountered any human being quite so infatuated with the idea of going to the toilet.
Ah, hello again. Oh, would you mind leaving the tap on? I think it's helping. Oh, yes, here we go.
We were just discussing your deputy head's rather unsavory obsession. He seems to have a positively indecent fascination for, well, waste products.
Really, I've never noticed. How very odd.
I don't think someone with that kind of morbid interest should be in charge of children, do you?
Absolutely not. I'll have a word with him about it on the next opportunity. This is for you.
What is?
Well, you asked for a sample of output, as it were.
Well, we shall certainly be expecting something a little more concrete than we've seen so far.
More concrete. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I'll see what I can manage.
Does it hurt?
No, it's fine.
Are you feeling dizzy at all?
Look, I can cope. Whatever that blasted Crabtree says.
Excuse me.
Yeah, can I help you?
I was chasing this kid who came running through the school, but he disappeared, and I couldn't help noticing. There are no children here. Not anywhere. Every single classroom is empty. Can I see your class? There are no children in there.
Right. Let's just sum up then. You were chasing a child who suddenly disappeared. And then you discovered you were unable to see any children at all in a school with 809 pupils. You've been under a lot of strain. This is quite a common problem. It's called student blindness. If you've been suffering from stress, you can become simply unable to see children at all.
I've never heard such absolute drivel in my life.
Really?
Yeah, and I am not suffering from stress. You've been talking to Ogilvy.
Mr. Crabtree, there you are. We were getting quite worried.
It's Mr. Slat. There are no pupils in this school. I've been everywhere. There's not one.
Right, I see.
Where are your pupils?
In the assembly hall. We put them all in the assembly hall. So that's why the rest of the school's deserted.
You're right. They aren't there. Sometimes I get a bit student blind myself. And there I was, teaching away.
Keep them there.
What?
Keep them in the assembly hall. We were considering addressing the students to explain what's happening this week anyway, and given the extraordinary behaviour of the staff in this place, I think we should do so without further delay.
But,
Arrange it! I'll speak to my colleagues.
we're finished, you hear me? Everyone in this school is finished!
The assembly hall, yeah?
Yes.
And they'll be on the stage.
Oh, yes, of course. What difference does it make?
I think I've got a plan.
What plan? Tell me your plan. I need to know your plan immediately. Right, here we are. Just take a seat. How's your head, Mr. Eggleby?
I'm absolutely fine, thank you.
Sure you don't want to go home?
Look, I can cope, okay.
Could you two behave like adults, please?
Well, aren't you going to open the curtains?
Curtains? I mean, yes, open these curtains.
In a moment. Oh, I think I hear the pupils arriving now. Cut that out, you lot. Not amusing, not funny. Right. Let's just open these curtains, shall we?
Let's hope there's no problems.
Excuse me.
Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, damnation, the curtain lever's jammed. What? It's always doing that. I'm afraid you'll just have to talk to the kids from this side of the curtain. That's the only thing for it.
Deal with this nonsense, will you?
We're not talking from behind here.
The lever's jammed, you see.
Well, stand in front of the curtains.
I'm afraid I couldn't allow that. There's quite a sharp drop on the other side. You might plummet to your certain death. For heaven's sake! Look, what we'll do is project some dramatic lighting on the other side of the curtains, maybe add a touch of organ music, and you could be these unseen booming voices. Always think about addressing the new first form.
We can't talk from behind a curtain.
Of course we can, but I can't move the lever, can I? Honestly, it would take a man with the strength of 10.
You see all right?
Absolutely. No problems here. I can see perfectly.
Well, no problems here either, I can assure you. Stress doesn't get to me that easily. Hello, you lot. I'm Mr. Crabtree.
I'm Mr. Ogilvy.
We're here to do an inspection, and we'd like to talk to you about it.
So quieten down, please.
Why, we introduce the third member of our little team, Miss Drumlins.
See their pupils.
Oh, yes, it's no problem there, I can assure you.
Gave me this.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
Well, children, why don't we all talk about the inspection?
They're flipped. They're totally flipped. What are we going to do with them?
Hello, Mr. Slat. I'm Dr. Clipston of the Belfast Hospital Psychiatric Unit.
Strange how she wouldn't let go of that plastic box. What was in it?
Oh, no, they haven't forgotten about me, have they?
Come on, Amanda. There's still one pupil in there to teach.
Oh, no, they took her too. She was begging them for a nose job, and the shrink wanted to chat with her. Must every inspection end this way?